So once a year, Jehovah's Witnesses commemorate the ransom sacrifice of Jesus Christ, which for me was a couple days ago. If you don't know what the ransom is, I'll explain it now. When God created the first man and woman, they were perfect, but because they sinned, they became imperfect and passed on that imperfection to their children, which is us. Imperfection causes you to sin, and when you sin, you deserve to die. God didn't want us to die, so he sacrificed his perfect son, Jesus, by letting him be tortured to death. And now, through his perfect blood being spilled, he covers all of mankind's sin as the new Adam, which allows God to have a legal basis to forgive our sins. First of all, why did God allow sin to even be passed on to innocent generations that had nothing to do with their parents' actions in the first place? He could have easily allowed Adam and Eve to serve for their mistake while protecting their children from inheriting their sin, the same way he did with Jesus. Or he could have created new perfect parents and started an entirely new human race, free from Adam and Eve's sin. Anyway, that's besides the point. In 2015, I asked an elder and a friend this question in an email. This is what I said. How is it that Jesus' blood actually covers our sins? I feel like the whole concept of using symbolism to cover over a real physical defect so that God can pretend like we're fine it's strange. He symbolically replaced Adam, and he symbolically covers our sins. How does that actually change anything real? Our father is still Adam, and we're still imperfect. How can God look at us any different than what we actually are? Using the innocent blood of another living creature to cover the corruption of someone completely different doesn't change anything. The only difference is that an innocent person is dead. If you want to fix something broken, the price is fixing it, not arbitrarily breaking something else. I think that was a very clear and honest question to which I got no substantial answer. Imagine if in court it was legal for a serial killer to escape his death sentence so long as a literal innocent person willingly took the punishment for him. Let's imagine that I walk into a hospital and say I inherited cancer from my parents the same way we supposedly inherited sin from Adam and Eve. I walk up to the doctor explaining how I inherited cancer from my parents, and he says, "Oh, don't worry, I have a plan for that." He then proceeds to let people torture his perfectly healthy son to death. And then I'm like, why'd you do that, doc? And the doctor says, well, you see, I replaced your unhealthy parents with my healthy son by allowing him to be tortured to death. To which you say, no, you didn't. I'm still the son of my parents. I still inherited their cancer. Oh, are you like going to use his DNA or something like that to help me with my cancer? Because if you did that, that would actually be... And he's like, oh, no. Nothing like that. You don't get it. I didn't like literally replace them. I mean like symbolically. I symbolically covered your cancer so that after you die, I can legally bring you back to life in perfect health. What? Why is it illegal to heal me? And why does killing your healthy kid make it legal? Because even though you inherited cancer against your will, you legally deserve to die from it. I can't just heal you. I mean, I can, but that wouldn't be fair to the legal system. So you can heal me, but not legally. Why? Who invented this legal system? Well, I did. You invented a legal system that requires you to torture a innocent, unrelated person in order to give yourself the symbolic right to heal someone you could already heal because in your mind they deserve to die for the cancer they inherited against their will? Yeah, pretty much. Now, I get how you guys imagine this to make sense. To you, it's like we are all born habitual thieves who steal from the bank of God, and Jesus is this infinitely rich person who covers the debt so we don't have to go to jail, right? That kind of makes sense. But it isn't even remotely the same thing when it comes to any variety of sin being fixed by a dead guy. If I spray graffiti on a building, does Jesus' blood paint over it? No. If I steal something, does Jesus' blood replace the stolen item? No. If somebody cheats on their wife, does Jesus uncheat their wife? No. Do you see the problem? In order for Jesus' sacrifice to be of any merit, it would have to actually fix every problem that any sin causes, which it does absolutely none of. Thus, it is an illegitimate ransom.
But maybe Jesus doesn't have to fix the problems that are caused by our sin because he's just that valuable. He is the son of the creator of the entire universe, after all. But it's not that Jesus isn't valuable as a great guy. It's just, how is he valuable in the context of paying for our sins when he's not actually fixing any of them? And just because you sacrifice something of greater value doesn't necessarily mean it fixes your problems. For example, trying to pay the country's debt by sacrificing all the world's gold to the ocean. Or sacrificing 1 million animals to extend the life of one pet. Or cutting off your arm in hopes that you'll grow back a toe you lost because of the sacrifice of a whole arm. So, because Jesus killing himself doesn't actually fix any problems, in my opinion, the debt of sin still remains. And you might say, but in the new system / heaven, those effects will no longer exist. You see, now you're putting the finish line at the start. How are you supposed to get into whatever heaven you believe in and Jesus' sacrifice is illegitimate? But maybe Jesus isn't even paying the price by fixing the problem, but instead paying the price by taking the punishment. In other words, instead of paying back the money we stole from the bank of God, he went to jail so he wouldn't have to, right? Immediately I think that Jesus was only dead for 3 days while we were all supposed to be dead for eternity. Not sure how one person spending 3 days dead covers billions of permanent, endless deaths to which some believe is spent in hellfire. But let's just say that Jesus never got resurrected the same way we were supposed to be, or it balances out in some other way. That's still wrong. I'm not even really sure how in depth I can even go into the immorality of substitutional punishment because I just fundamentally believe that it's immoral to punish the innocent even for the greater good. Evil for the greater good is something to be expected by humans with limited options, not a literally limitless, all-powerful and righteous, perfect God with a plan. Even if Jesus was willing to make that sacrifice, it is an injustice and a sin to himself as an innocent being. Also, I fundamentally disagree that punishment is something that can be justifiably transferred onto an unrelated party. If punishment is something that is fundamentally earned and deserved, you cannot possibly pass that onto someone else and call that justice. Justice is codependent on the guilty party receiving that punishment, not in the punishment just arbitrarily being given out. Anyways, I think that's all I have to say about this topic. Props to you for making it this far. Thank you for the watch, and subscribe, hit the bell, blah, 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 blah. Thank you, and peace. Peace, 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 peace.